Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Milavraika, and I'm looking at Psalm 37, verses 16 and 17. This section of the acrostic structure begins with tet, and we find a few interesting things here. Before we start complaining or wondering why this line curves like this and this one curves like this one is actually scanned from the bottom of the document. This one's scanned from the top of the document. Now, originally, when the scribe wrote this all out, it probably was straight as an arrow. He was a good scribe. But of course, over the centuries, it's this parchment, this animal skin is going to dry differently. It's going to warp as it dries. And so at this point, it probably warped with the center up and this corner down. So this 12 part right here was pulled in a little bit. So that change in the height of this tove here derives from what happened with the parchment. And the same thing over here. I have to admire the person running the camera, had a really good depth of field. I don't think he wanted to or was allowed to squash this material under glass to make it straighten out, but it does show that a really good depth of field because everything's in focus here of all the letters and the vowel pointing. So better, and so tov, this is a tet, begins right here. Tet is one of the favorites of those who do acrostic psalms. So I looked up Psalm 119, and tov is used 5 times out of the 8 in the section that corresponds to the tet over in Psalm 119. Psalm 119 is our super acrostic, and our super acrostic use this one quite a bit. So tov, and then tov me'at. Now, me'at quite often is used for a temporal thing, a small span of time. However, since we're dealing with all kinds of goods, things, then instead of talking about time here, it's just going to be talking about amount. Okay, just the amount or the size of some things. So tov me'at, it's better, a small amount. La sadik, okay, la sadik. Dalet is fairly clear here, la sadik, and not closing off this part. Now, we've seen tov already in our study, and it just simply means good. In fact, even modern Hebrew, boker tov, erev tov, laila tov, and so forth, you still hear this word quite a lot. So tov is good. However, when you put it in relationship with the comparative, in other words, you have a comparative mem right here, mehamon with the many things, the abundance, okay, mehamon compared to many. So this is a comparative mem. When you put in a comparative mem, the tov then becomes comparative. In other words, rather than just saying good, we're going to say better. Okay, so this then becomes better. So that's how comparatives are formed in Hebrew. So you take what would be just the normal adjective, and you can make it into better by just putting it through a comparative preposition. So the comparative comparison. Mehamon compared to hamon, to the abundance. This is the root, which you'll find in the dictionary, but I do like to point out that onun, holom nun, is going to be working a whole lot like a paragogic nun. In other words, a whole lot like a lymphatic nun. So this is hamon, okay? Really big there, really pushed up, really big stuff, okay? So mehamon incidentally happens to be the same root as Haman over in the Book of Esther. So yeah, Haman was a guy with a lot of things. In fact, well, all of the things that happened to him happened the same way we find in our psalm right here. So Hamon, Reshaim, of the evil ones, again the plural. In fact, the plural is going to pop up twice in our passage here. Reshaim here as well. So Reshaim, of the evil ones, the wicked people. Here, wicked people. Rabim, and this then is many wicked people. Now we've seen Rashim already, and this one actually pushes it up rather than just some wicked people, many wicked people. So it's it really, you get the whole crowd of all the wicked people who have a lot of stuff. And so it's sort of a, wow, here's the poor guy with just a little bit, and he's a righteous person, but he just has just enough to get along on, and he's compared then to those lots of wicked people who have lots of stuff. So mehamon, of the many things of the wicked people. And then what happens? Ki Zeroot, and this is the arms, okay? Zera, this is Zet Resh, okay, the Resh, the Zion Resh. The Zion Resh is kind of hidden there, and then Holem in the middle here, and then an Ayin. Zera, it's the arms that are extended out. Even the righteous woman extends out her arm in Proverbs 31. But Zera, it's part of the family of like the rays of the sun, also the rays of the veins within a plant, Zera. And so the Zion Resh Ayin is, and sometimes just Zion Resh Aleph, and so, but that is then things that stick out. So these are the arms that's sticking up out of the righteous person. I'd say, when you say Yad in Hebrew, it's the hand with up to the elbow, and then when you say Zera, it's from the shoulder all the way out to this part. So this is the part that's sticking out of the person. So the arms, Reshaim, the arms of the evil ones, the wicked. Same thing here. We see wicked and wicked. Same thing. Reshaim. Tishbarna. We've seen this verb already in the previous passage with the bow, with the bow being broken, shattered. The bows of the wicked are shattered, and same thing then also with their arms. This is complete destruction. When you pull a bow way too hard, it snaps in half. When you put too much, actually it's a bit of an irony here, you probably put too much weight of all the goods on the arms of these people, snaps right off. But it's a very dramatic scene of people loaded with so much stuff, it's breaking their arms. So, although, the Lord also has a part in this as well. So, Bezerot, the arms, this is a feminine form. When you have parts of the body, it's going to be feminine. So here it says a Zerot, Reshaim, Tishavarna. And then a comparison, and in contrast, I spent a little bit of time checking out or looking at this Vav right here, but, or in contrast, or compared, or something that comes in contrast to. So I finally just said, okay, I'm just going to put in contrast, okay, for this Vav right here. Shomek, and this is a word based on a hieroglyphic root. In other words, the very, very ancient form of the language. The first Psalmics that appeared in the ancient forms, we're talking way back into very ancient Hebrew thoughts. It was a pole with arms on it, and I've looked through Scripture pretty extensively to see if I can find this saved as a. Would be nice to have it saved as a noun, as something that you can see, and okay, it's something standing there with a structure. It's only saved really as a verb, something that happens, okay, something that is supported, something that's held up, okay, something that's strengthened. So when you put a pole with crossbars on it, you're holding up a building or something like that. This was the very ancient form of it, and then later on in the Lachish documents, you had the vertical pole as yet, and you had the top crossbars, and then somebody put in an extra little loop on this side, sort of an extra brace on the crossbars. And then when the Psalmic in Babylon went to the square font, that's what survived of this particular psalmic, and that became this little circle. So this little circle is a cross brace underneath the support, the support pole and the cross arm. So when you're looking at the psalmic now, think of it as just a cross brace. So somek, and then they hold up. He holds up. Okay. Sadiqim, we've seen. This is the singular here. La Sadiq, to the righteous one. And then Sadiqim, Sadiq Dalet Yod Kof Yod Mem, the righteous ones. This then is the plural, that's the singular over here. And then the person doing the action is right here at the end, Jehovah, okay? Jehovah. And nice siluk to end our verse, and then no sof pasuk. We find that very common. Did have a nice sof pasuk over here, but not here. Okay, our verse ends without sof pasuk, without the benefit of that. Modern text will slip it in for you, but our scribe at this point said, sof siluk is good enough. What I find very interesting in our entire story here, and very comforting for us as followers of God, followers of Jesus, is the whole matter of the action of God holding us up. Here we find the righteous person having just a little bit, okay, compared to the evil people in the world having a whole lots of stuff. But those evil people, their arms are shattered, boom, things, as I've said in previous studies, they come to a shattering end. Their bows are broken, they're smashed up and so forth, and the arms and armaments that they use to wreak havoc on others end up pointed at themselves, at the evil ones. But in contrast, I say here, and it's a very important contrast, Jehovah holds the righteous ones, and you can almost see it as a set of hands holding us here with the psalmic. Okay, the psalmic is a support. Okay, so ancient times probably was a support for some kind of building. Now we're looking at it, and very symbolic support and sustaining power of Jehovah holding the righteous in place. We can have many vicissitudes in life. We can have awful problems, illnesses and economic troubles and all these things. But something we have to recognize that even though we have just a little bit, Jehovah holds us in place, holds us up, keeps us focused, keeps us in His hands. So it's great comfort to us, and I hope it's also for you to know that Jehovah has this task. He does this for us, and that He holds us in His hands. He supports us. He gives us emotional support, gives us many ways that He holds us together and gives us the strength we need to go forward in life. And I invite you to go forward believing in God and believing in Jesus Christ, so that your life can also have this kind of support. May God bless. May God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.